What's up, Summoners? King Blair here. Today we're going to be talking about how you can make your Guild Wars defenses better by looking at top level defenses, breaking them down, and then giving you guys some concepts to think about whenever you're theory crafting your own team. So if you like the video, make sure you like, subscribe, and join the Discord link. Y'all been doing amazing on all of them. Thank you so much for all the support. It's been amazing, y'all. But yeah, without further ado, let's just get right into it. So I know for Guild Wars, the Guild Wars experience varies widely on your skill level as a player and where you are at in the game. So if you're early game, Guild Wars probably isn't that fun for you. If you're late game and just playing casually, it's probably something you do on the side. Trust me, I've been there. I was chilling, in my old guild. I had a lot of fun with them, but I wanted something more, and then that's a top guild when you really want to challenge yourself in the top 200 guilds. You really want to become better as a player. You want that challenge aspect, like that team, like the communication aspect. That's where the top level lies. So everyone should strive, if you want to have more fun and be more competitive, to try to strive for the top. So that's, regardless of skill level, this guide will help you start thinking about all these concepts. The other thing is that Guild Wars, and I'll cover this more in a second, is a team fight, and that will play into how you build a defense. That does remind me, Talentless, the guild I joined, which honestly changed my perspective completely on Guild Wars. I used to think Guild Wars was like whatever, but after joining a top guild, especially someone with this great community, it really changed my perspective on Guild Wars. I love all the information gathering, the unit help, they help you on how to build your attack teams, what units to focus on. It's just a very good experience. If you are looking to join Talentless, you do have to be Champion RTA or above. I'll put the information in the description. If you are at that level and want a more challenging experience in Guild Wars, I highly suggest you take them a look. But again, there's millions of other guilds that can fit you. And honestly, the camaraderie in all of them, no matter where you are, is my favorite part of Guild Wars now. But all right, enough about the guild stuff. Let's actually go to the stuff that you probably came here for, which is how can I improve my defense? I'm just starting out. Every time I look, I look at my defense, and you're probably like this. It's like you're getting all these losses, you're getting murked, Like maybe you're never getting wins, and you're always getting attacked. And you're like, I just want to start getting some wins. So let's start talking about it. So before we actually start looking at the defenses, there are 3 concepts that you need to think about. So as I mentioned before, Guild Wars is a team battle. It's a co-op of sorts. You might think like, why is that important to defense building? But then you realize that because people have 3 fights and because units are not reusable if they die, that opens up a whole new set of strategies that become better and better because of that. Because now, for example, even though this big tower only got a few wins and got completely destroyed, I guarantee you some of these losses, they probably lost a unit and then fought someone else and lost because they didn't have their best units. So it's something that you have to think, Guild Wars is a team fight game. You might be like, oh, but how does that benefit me if I kill one of their units? Because that's going to happen the other way around. If all your guild is well connected and very strong, then you're going to get more wins because they're fighting and they're losing units, and then they fight you and they don't have their best units. It's all a cycle, so it's important to remember that it is a team game. That does bring to 2 points that I kind of already mentioned, but point number 1, forcing your opponent to sacrifice a unit is so good in Guild Wars. It makes it so much harder to fight other enemies. Like for example, against Arbiter Vildred, I almost always exclusively take my Emil Haste. But if there's an Arbiter Vildred team that can kill my Emil Haste, like this guy, if I lose my Emil Haste to this guy first fight, I'm going to be losing. Which is why a lot of people actually will surrender if they're not sure if they're going to win. So you get wins that way. So forcing your opponent to lose units and sacrifice units is super strong. Which is why units like Kayron, Arbiter Vildred, Charles, even like any unit that can go in, take another unit out, and win. So like if you're lower level and you have Little Queen Charlotte, she works perfectly in this scenario because Little Queen Charlotte is going to take someone down with her. But again, that's why Kayron and Arbiter Vildred, you will see them a lot. The other thing about all of this is unpredictability is so strong. So I mentioned how higher up there is more information, right? So for us, I already know this Bazaar, they already have fought it. If I had fought it earlier, I have all the information I need. But in lower guilds, people don't have that same information. So if you're trying to get better, the more predictable you are, the better. Also, the first fights, that's probably the main place you're going to be getting wins. Like if you see here, he gets a ton of wins early on. because they don't know the information yet. So again, unpredictability is very, very strong. And we'll talk about how that plays in. But yeah, those are the three concepts I want you to think about. And the last thing is that similar to Arena, you always want to protect against the cleave. But in Guild Wars, you also have to protect against the tank slow comps. Because Ruel, Dark Corvus, and Crow is the best, most consistent Guild Wars offense. And if you can kill one of those units, one of those targets, somehow, you've made a massive favor for your guild at that point. And it's like, your guild will love you. If you manage to always do that, you're always getting all the wins, it's amazing. But let's actually start looking at some of the Guild Wars defenses and talking about it. So this first team, do they protect against the cleave? Yes, Bazaar is there to protect against the cleave. Lilius is also there to protect against the cleave because she probably is going to be on an adamant shield or a Aureus. And the Arbiter Builder, again, protects against the cleave. Why? Even though, let's say they have Singelica, right? They're not going to be having that much damage if they have Singelica. They need someone to push up, right? But at this point, Bazaar is there. So he's protecting against Singelica. The other cleave would be the Judge Kiza cleave with Challenger Dami. The Lilius, let's say they outspeed. The Lilius might make it so the Judge Kisei can't kill the Arbiter Vildred the first time. And this is the part where unpredictability comes into play. Because Bazaar could be faster than the Cleaver, and Arbiter Vildred could be a Moonlight Dreamblood Arbiter Vildred on 11 to 12k HP. And I've seen those. And they will stop a Judge Kisei in extract. You get a free win because of the unpredictability and the protection against Cleave. Now against tank teams, oh man, this team is great. The top team, Bazaar goes first, Lilia's ultis, pushes them back. So that's 60% if all the debuffs land. Bazaar is 30, strips buffs, cannot be buffed. Lilia's pushes back by 30, gives herself 50%. Arbiter Builder comes in, smacks him with a ton of damage, and because Lilia's got that 50%, she can taunt a high priority target. At that point, you're probably gonna be taking a lot of Arbiter Builder hits to your face. It's just very, very strong. And then Moonlight Haste, boom, Bazaar already stops that. So again, very, very strong. Which HU is gonna take a while to actually make it into a meta situation. But again, it's still hard. Bazaar still has a very strong advantage, even against HU in this scenario, in Guild Wars. As far as round 2, you start seeing in Kayron. So Kayron, again, another very strong unit that can take out a unit because you can't kill him right away, protects against cleave, and can eat up a squishy, which is important because it gives you advantage. Charles, same thing. We all been there. The counter-attack Charles that just kills you, procs on your main attack dealer, boom, your team's dead. Or your unit is dead, and it could be a critical unit. And a lot of Guild Wars Charles are not tanky. They're actually damaged on Holy Sacrifice because they are usually faster. People don't expect it. So again, unpredictability. And then the Roll of Light is there. One for the cleave, because if she's on Water's Origin, or what's the other heal one? Touch of Rakos, you don't know which one, right? But she can just heal, stop the cleave, and then revive whoever you killed, most likely the Charles, and then just whip you. So again, very, very strong defense. So I want you guys to start seeing these concepts, and then I'll show you guys some bad defenses that just got murked and just absolutely got destroyed. So this one is another good one. And then for this one, I'm going to talk about the second one because the first one, we kind of already saw it. We already seen those units. But now let's look at the second one. This one has Fallen CC, who is the best defensive unit, but they're using this team right. Why? FCC, thick barrier, so always really good. Skill Nullifier, again, really, really good. When paired with Tempest Siren. So Tempest Siren, I don't know if you know this, but if you have one, she is becoming one of the best Guild Wars units in the game. Especially when paired with someone like Arby. Oh man, it's actually, or like Charles, it's actually tilting. So why does this defense work? FCC gives a fat shield, stops against the cleave. Tempest Siren protects against the cleave herself. You can't kill her in one shot. You can't kill her in 2 shots. So she's always guaranteed at least 1 turn, gets combat readiness, applies silence, and cannot be buffed. That's stopping a cleave right in the tracks. And the thing about it against tank teams, she does mad damage. And the thing about it is sometimes there's speed Sirens, or it could be a slow Siren. So that's the unpredictability factor. And then Arbiter Builder is there to combo with the Tempest Siren to take out at least 1 priority target. Those two, they're going to have so much AoE damage. I guarantee you that's probably doing like 20, 22k HP. So you have to take a strong DPS and somehow have the DPS survive long enough that you can hit the Tempest Turret several times, have her not heal through your damage, and then take out the Arbiter. Like, there's so many things you just can't do. You're gonna have to sacrifice a unit to try to build that, to beat that second team. And that's where it comes in. That's where he's doing a really good job. And then last, this one, no one wanted to attack for obvious reasons. Emo Ken, again, another really good unit. Emo Violet, again, another really good unit. For the top team, stops against Cleave like insanely. And then if that's a damage Ken, which you don't know, you're going to lose your tank team too, because you're just going to be clapping your team with insane damage. He could be faster than the Arbiter Vildred. You don't know that. That's the thing. That's what makes it so good. The second team, we already kind of talked about it, but the biggest thing is protecting against the Cleave, and then the Rylet just does so much damage. Even to tanks, he's going to be killing a tank, which is why Rylet is so good. Now, let's talk about some bad ones, and then I'll talk about some units to try to help you guys, you know, start seeing who's a good Guild Wars unit, just overall. Who is good in Guild Wars and why. So a bad defense, I don't think it was this one, I think it was up here, would be something like, this one's actually not bad. Where was it? This guy did actually pretty well. I'm surprised too. So this one got a lot of draws, probably because of both teams. So depending on the team, there was one that I was like, oh, this one. This guy gets murked. So this guy does not have the strongest defense in the world. Like if we see here, he's getting wrecked, right? This is the defense I was looking for. Why is he getting attacked so often? Why is he losing so often? So again, you have to remember, everyone in Champion has optimal gear. He is using a Cleave team. But the thing about it is Oxlots is not going to use his S2. So even if he has a fast Judge Kisei, there are so many anti-Cleave teams out there that if you don't have a very strong Cleave team, you're going to be losing. For the second team, Seaside is very strong. She takes units out, she does a lot of damage, high sustain. Crawl, really solid, again. But then the Angelica. So I know a lot of people are like, oh, Angie is so strong for Guild Wars. She's not, y'all. Why do I think she's not? Even if she's like a 26k on maxed out Idols cheer, why do I think, like, yes, she's good, but not in this team. Why? Because it's so much water. They have no sustain. If I bring a Cleave to this team, kill the SSB, and then just DPS him out with like an Earth unit, what are they gonna do? I could bring like Charles, bring Violet, and then slap on a row of light to tank, and then just smack him away. Or I can bring so many other DPSs. I could bring my Akali, one-shot the Seaside with Soulburn, and then I just DPS him out with Akali. And then it's like, what do they do? So again, this guy it's not unpredictable. You know what all those units are. The Judge Kisei is getting there. You know, the Judge Kisei is nice, but it's not unpredictable. None of his teams are taking out a unit right away, besides the Kayron, which is the only reason this defense is okay. And just overall, he's not going to be getting that many wins. It's honestly a pretty easy fight. For the second team, you can literally just Bazaar it. And then it's like, what does he do? You know, he just straight up loses at that point. So again, that's an example of a bad one. This one, an okay one. So why is this one not as good? First team, the only threat is Arbiter Vildred. No one else is trying to kill you. There is no threat of sacrificing a unit. It's too defensive. It's way too defensive. And that's a big problem, because if it's too defensive, who's going to kill him? You know, I can just tank him out with my Craw, Roll of Light, and my Dark Corvus. And he's not going to be doing anything. You know, like I killed the Arbiter Vildred 2 times. The miss chance on the Dizzy doesn't even matter. And then my units probably have enough effect resistance to even go through it. Or just lap on a Champ C, kill the Arbiter Vildred 1 time with have Roll of Light, Champ C, and any unit that can take out Arbiter, and just take Arbiter. Like, there's so many ways you can counter this defense. And then the second team, we already talked about why it's not the greatest. So, all right, we went through a lot of examples, and I hope you guys start seeing it. So now to some units who are unpredictable and really good. There's the obvious ones, but there's some that I feel like people don't talk about as much. So Crow, extremely strong. People sleep on him. It's kind of sad that they sleep on him so hard, but he's very strong, defense up, and can take out a unit easy. On Guild Wars, Holy Sacrifice. Why? Holy Sacrifice will make it so that your Crow, when he dies, he comes back and gets a guaranteed S3. and then you're doing your job as a Guild Wars defense. So Holy Sack Craw is the best one for Guild Wars defense for unpredictability. The Guild Wars Seaside again is really, really good. That was Craw plus Seaside is good if you slap on a Royal Light. So Royal Light, we saw a lot of her. She's really, really good because now you have so much sustain. They can't just one shot your Seaside. So that's Royal Light. There's one that we didn't see today, but it's actually really, really strong and actually really, really popular is going to be Alencia. Again, can kill easy, survives cleaves, strips buffs, does a lot. Again, another very, very good defensive unit. So one thing you didn't see me do, so let me see if I can actually show you guys. I forgot to show you guys my defense. That's not Guild Wars. But all right. So again, how did I put these concepts into practice? How did I do it? So team 1, y'all have my rarely gets attacked and it's been like 2 weeks. But why? So first team, the Charles is there to take out units. The Lilias is there with the Aureus to protect. The Aravi is there for the unpredictability. Is that a tank Aravi? Is it a speed one? If it's a tank, if it's not a tank one, if it's a speed one, and you take your little Queen Charlotte against it, you're gonna be surprised. You're not gonna be killing my Aravi. So if they try to kill her, they're not gonna be able to do it, which is why you see me winning those fights. And I get some draws too. Then the second team, again, the Charon, Royal Light, and then the Dizzy is there to protect a little. The Charon protects against Dizzy's counters because if they try to take a Charles to my Dizzy, Charon's going to be doing high DPS. If they try to focus down one or the other, Royal Light is there to protect my team. So there's a lot of things you can do in Guild Wars. And honestly, this is the best Guild Wars defense I can come up with. I could have slapped the Basar on the second one. But then Basar, Charon, and Royal, it doesn't make sense as a team. Because then it's like, okay, who's doing the damage? Just the Charon? Then I can just put a bunch of water tanks, right? So you want mixed damage if possible. Bruisers are often really, really good. So there's a lot of other things we could talk about. There's a lot. There's a lot to Guild Wars defense, but that's why I want to leave you guys with the biggest concepts. It's a team fight. Units that can go 1-for-1 are amazing. If you can get a 1-for-1, that's broken. And then last but not least, you want to be as unpredictable as possible. But that is all I have for you guys today. I will see y'all next time. Peace.